Welcome to Hooked on Wooden Boats, podcast episode number 207. I am your host today, Dan Matson, aka Wooden Boat Dan. If you can't do it, probably quite a few people can. And this is the world's first podcast fully dedicated to celebrating the art, craft, history, tradition, and romance of wooden vessels around the world. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. Good to have you with me. I'm recording this on August 22nd, 2018. Today's featured segment is an interview with Dillon Majoros. He's a designer with CLC Boats. He's worked on some really cool projects, including the Teardrop camper and the Waterlust 17-foot sailing canoe with a yawl rig. So stick around for the interview. I think you're going to like it. Meanwhile, I'll give you a little update on my scamp. My wife and I were actually gone for 3 weeks in Canada doing some volunteer work at a Christian camp. Just got back about a week ago. And so I've been working on my centerboard. I got the centerboard basically all completed, but I needed some spacers to get it to fit in the centerboard trunk with about 1/8 of an inch clearance on each side. So I cut a couple pieces of plywood, like 4 millimeter, and put it on each side of one on each cheek of the centerboard, and epoxied that on, and then graphite epoxied over that. And then I'm getting my pin that goes into the centerboard, getting that all set up. Next thing I'm going to do is actually paint the water ballast tank. I think I'm pretty much done in there. Get that painted up. Then I'm actually going to mount the centerboard and hook up the rigging for it. So I am making progress. It is pretty slow, but it is progress. Meanwhile, my friend in Idaho, Brent Butikofer, has finished his second scamp. Came out really nice. If you just if you Google Hagoth, Hagoth, scamp, you'll get to his website, blog, where he's got lots of pictures and information. So I'd encourage you to check that out when you have a minute. Anyway, we are going to move on to the interview with Dillon, so take it away, Dillon. Okay, it is September 8th, 2017. I am sitting with Dillon Majoros.
Yeah.
Okay. Dillon, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so you work for CLC Boats, and you came highly recommended by John Harris. Chesapeake Lightcraft. So I understand you're a designer and wooden boat enthusiast, and you've had a pro and some really fun stuff, and you went to the landing school. And
I did do, yeah.
But maybe to start with, tell me how you got into boating and messing around with wooden boats.
Yeah, I grew up in the North Shore of Massachusetts, in a little town on the Merrimack River. And when we were kids, 8, 9 years old, we would find boats that had washed up on shore and fix them up and go sailing.
Seriously?
And capsize them and figure out how to get back to shore again. And yeah, and this was a point where you come home from school and tell mom that you're going sailing for the weekend, and she says, "Great, have a good time. Be back for school next Monday." And that was a childhood. It was a small town, so we made friends with the harbor master, and every summer he would send us a letter or give us a buzz and say, "Hey, got another boat for you, washed up in the marshes. If you want to come by and check it out." Yep. Yeah.
What kind of boats were these?
So we started with a 420, a little old international 420, and then worked our way up to glass? It was a glass boat, and then worked our way up to lightnings. So we had a wooden lightning and 2 glass lightnings, and from the 3 boats, we scavenged together enough parts to sail one.
Really?
And and camp cruise it in the Merrimack, and loosely campaign it as a race boat, but it was more just for play.
Yeah. So how old were you when you were doing that?
With the lightning, I was probably early teens, 13, 14, up through a late teenager. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, you still have any of those boats?
No, not anymore. Yeah. Those are a couple of seasons tops for those boats before we would sell them and use the funds to buy something else.
So what did you do after high school then?
Let's see. After high school, took a year off. Spent some time paddling down in Florida in the Everglades. Spent some time
paddling a kayak.
Kayak, yep, yep, double kayak, little old full boat.
Full boat?
Yeah.
Which is that a canvas folding?
It is, yep. Yeah, canvas with a high pylon bottom, canvas deck, high pylon bottom.
So you're paddling with somebody?
Yes, okay. Yeah, it was two of us. Yeah, we could pack the whole boat up into 2 bags, throw it in the trunk of the car. Drove down to Florida for 2 weeks, paddled the Everglades, and came back.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
No one was there. Had the whole place to ourselves. It was fantastic. Spent a chunk of time over in Romania, working there for a while. Went to Burma for a few months, and then came back.
What did you do in Romania?
In Romania, I was working on a little farm, a couple hours north of Bucharest. Just a small village. It was sort of set up as an orphanage from Ceausescu when he was in power. The priest came up there, settled down, brought a bunch of kiddos from the city, and set up a little community, essentially.
Okay.
So I was working on a greenhouse with those guys. And then Burma shortly after that to do a documentary with a woman out of Boston who was looking to kind of follow her father's footsteps. He was over there in war.
What kind of a documentary was it?
So it was actually 3 films in one. So a woman teamed up with 2 graduate students from Boston University, and the exchange was that they would come over and shoot her film, which was about the time that her father spent in Burma and how the country has changed since he was there. And they would have an opportunity to shoot their thesis films while we were over there. So that was sort of their payment. And I just came on as a sound guy. I just ran the mics. Got a trip out of it.
Yeah. And then, so what did you do? That's traveling. What did you do after that
Then I went to Reed College out in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, to study theater for about a year and a half. But ever since I've been drawing boats since I was 4 years old. So I've always known that I had to spend a good chunk of my life drawing boats. And I think I tried to put that off as long as possible to get some experience, elsewhere, knowing that if I went right into the field initially, that would be my whole life, my everything. But about a year and a half into college, I realized that I had to go do it. I met Steve DL, who was running the design program at the landing school at the time, at the Newport Boat Show. Yeah. And I was sketching boats. And one conversation with him, and I was sold. I knew that I had to go up to the school. And
really?
Yep.
That's in Maine, right?
It is, Kennebunkport, yeah.
Do they specialize in design then? Is that kind of their
That's
forte?
one of the courses.
Okay.
Yeah. Among 4 or 5 others. Composite boat building on one end of the spectrum, and then small crafts on the other. Traditional wooden boat building as well. But,
so you went up there and did their design course. Yep. How long is that?
It's just a year, 10-month program. And they say that they cram 2 or 3 years worth of material into that 1 year, and I believe it. I mean,
you learned a lot, huh?
Yeah.
So, what are some kind of the highlights of what you learned? If you could kind of sum it up in a few sentences, what would you say you learned there?
At the landing school, probably the absolute most important thing that I learned at the landing school, the thing that's applied to everything I've done since then, is the concept of the design spiral.
The design spiral?
Spiral, yeah. Are you familiar with that term at all? Okay. So that's basically taking any sort of design project and establishing a basic set of parameters that you're going to work within, sort of an envelope, a loose envelope, and then as you go through the design process, and as you check every little box off the list, like the hydrodynamic stuff, the layout stuff, the propulsion stuff, you sort of tighten those individual components of the boat up in the design progress by looping around and checking everything off the list once before you proceed to refine on your next pass. It's sort of hard to describe without having a pencil in hand. But it's making sure that you don't focus too much on just one aspect of the design and then hope that everything else will fall into place.
I see.
Because with a boat where everything is so intricately tied together, like a powerboat, for example, if you suddenly decide, I think I'm going to increase my propulsion from 20 horsepower to 40, well, that now adds weight to the back of the boat. Now, do I have the displacement to support that? And now, what does that do to every other facet of the design? So I think, it's like as a writer, it's so important to have an outline for a paper. If you're going to do that.
Okay, so
that's something
like
that I ignored. I think in high school, I just would dive in and start at the beginning and work my way down to the end, and wind up with maybe a conclusion that didn't quite match my thesis early on because I didn't take the time to outline it out and develop an argument.
Yeah,
sort of analogous to that in some respects.
Okay.
you have to always be paying attention to that bigger picture, to that cohesive whole. Make sure that you haven't just gone off the deep end with one piece and neglected the rest of it.
So does that type of design process apply to power, sail, and human power boats?
Yeah.
All three?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And what about the size of the vessel?
The bigger it is, the easier it is to design.
Really?
Yeah, because humans don't change. We don't scale up with the boat. So, if you were to ask me to draw a 50-foot boat with a few places to sleep and a galley and maybe a nice big cockpit, that's really easy. There's tons of room to put all that stuff in there. But you try to do a 20-foot boat with similar accommodations, and you want to make it look good too. Aesthetics on a smaller level are really tricky, especially with a boat that has a cabin. Suddenly you now have to have higher freeboard or a big house top sticking out to get standing headroom down below in a little boat. Whereas if you make that 20-foot boat 40 feet long, it's scaled out longitudinally but hasn't grown in height, it's a much prettier looking boat. Small craft are infinitely more difficult to design than large craft.
So that makes me think of a tiny house versus a regular-sized house.
Yeah.
My wife and I are kind of interested in tiny houses.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever get one, but we find it very intriguing how... it's like boat building, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very creative with the space and making things multifunctional and just really thinking through the process. Whereas, a stick frame house, 2,000 square feet, you can kind of just put it up and...
Yeah, go to IKEA, grab some couches, and it's probably going to fit.
Yeah,
rearrange
exactly.
the seat. Yeah. No, your couch in your tiny house also needs to be a bed. It needs to be a dinette. It has to have a table pop out of it. It has to be a storage bin. You have to have a washing machine hidden in there somewhere as well. It has to serve 15 different purposes.
Yeah. You could probably design a tiny house pretty well.
Yeah, I've done tree houses. That's similar.
Have you really?
Yeah.
That you live in?
No. Not liveaboards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when did you graduate from a landing school then?
2010, is that right?
2010?
Yeah, 2010.
Okay, yeah. So what did you do after that then?
I went down to Florida to work with Michael Peters Yacht Design, MPYD.
Okay.
Which is... Mike Peters kind of made his name in the high-speed powerboat industry. He's drawn a lot of Class A offshore race boats.
Really?
Yeah, in the 70s and 80s, and then transitioned into drawing luxury power yachts. And then when I was there, started drawing craft for the Navy SEALs as well. So a couple of patents on high-speed hull forms, but big, fast, fuel-hungry boats.
Really?
Yeah. Not what I grew up with. Total opposite end of the spectrum of what I grew up with.
So did you like doing that?
I did, yeah. For the design, to be able to leave school and then to work in a design office, that was sort of the continuation of my education. School gave me the basics. Working with MPID really taught me how the world works in terms of designing boats for production. So for that, it was a phenomenally valuable experience. The design challenges were fantastic. We worked with such a range of different types of boats that every project was new. We were doing amphibious craft at certain points. We were doing race boats, luxury power boats. But then we would have a boat built, and I would go down to the Miami Boat Show and take a look at it and think, A, will I never be able to afford something like this? B, I would never want to. C, this isn't what interests me. I'm sitting at my desk drawing crummy little sailboats. Like that's my
you
love.
Don't want a big cigarette boat.
No, never. I love a good displacement powerboat every now and again, but that's not my jam. So I had been sketching around and playing around with smaller wooden craft for a few years. Yeah. And I would come out to Port Townsend every year for the Wooden Boat Fest.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been coming out here for, 7 or 8 years now.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I would come here and say, these are my people. This is the community I want to be involved in. And kind of got to know John Harris a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just went from there.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I called him up at one point and said, I'd really like to work with you guys. And he says, all right, sounds great.
Really?
I'm sure we can work something out. Yeah.
When was that, Dillon?
2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 3 years ago. That's when we first started connecting.
Okay. So tell me about some of the work you've done at Chesapeake Lightcraft.
So I came on to CLC right in the middle of our Teardrop camper.
Oh, you did?
Production. Yeah, which has been kind of a game changer for the company. A new direction for sure, and one that has allowed us, I think, to reach a much broader audience than just the small boats and the kayaks and whatnot. So I came on, and the project had stalled out a bit mostly because we just didn't have enough people in the shop to work on it. Got to kickstart that again and wrap up the production of that, fix a couple of things, and move on from there.
Yeah, so was that thing flying off the shelves?
Oh, yeah.
The Teardrop?
Yeah, I would say it's one of our top items.
Hottest sellers, really?
Yeah.
Do you know how many kits you've sold? Or
A couple hundred.
really?
Yeah, in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you see a lot of those things after they're finished, or are people all over the world probably buying them? So
Yeah, we see a lot of photographs. We encourage everyone who builds a boat to send in a photograph, or a camper for that matter.
yeah.
And it's been fun watching people outfit their campers. There's a lot of room there.
Oh,
with a
right.
kayak, there's not a whole amount you can do with customizing the deck rigging. Obviously, with a strip-built boat, it's fantastic to see what patterns people come up with that. But for the camper, just these clever storage solutions that people have. And you've got the whole spectrum. On one end, someone will build their camper, throw a flashlight in there, and call it a day. And on the other end, you have people with like air conditioning units and heaters.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, little sinks in the back, and so the whole spectrum.
Wow. So is there going to be a Teardrop 2.0, you think?
There might be, yeah.
Really?
We've been talking about it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, there are those who are looking for the big one that they can stand up in.
Oh.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just scaling it up, it becomes infinitely more difficult to build and more expensive. It doesn't. Twice the size doesn't mean twice as expensive, twice as long. 10 times as expensive, 10 times as long.
Then you get into issues with the size of your plywood sheets and stuff like that. It gets a little more challenging. And, the spans, the curved spans and stuff.
It requires more structure. And,
heavier material and stuff.
It's a nice size where it is right now.
What's the overall length of that?
Gosh, it's about 8 feet long, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Right around there.
Okay.
About 5 feet wide.
What other stuff have you worked on, designs? John mentioned the Canoe.
Yeah. So I guess that was last summer. We had a chance to work with Waterlust.
Okay.
Group based down in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
Team of 4. They're all scientists. One of them has their PhD in marine biology. The other's master's. I can't remember where they are with their schooling, but they're highly trained scientists. And their goal with this program with Waterlust has been to engage people and to teach them about what's going on with their local waterways. And the goal of this project was to build these boats, to learn how to build boats up Chesapeake Lightcraft, and then sail them down the Intercoastal back to Miami again, and kind of see how the waterways changed from the Chesapeake down to Miami, and see how people engage with the water. And they didn't have the time to commit to the whole project so that they could sail it start to finish. There are definitely a couple of times where they threw the boats on top of the van and drove down, but they sailed a good chunk of it for sure. So they approached us and asked if we would draw a boat for them, and we said sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell me about the design you did for that.
It's a 17-foot sailing canoe. They wanted a traditional looking boat, but with modern performance. Went with a yawl rig for ease of handling and maneuverability.
Any outriggers?
No outriggers on this one, but built so that you could throw some on if you wanted to, for sure. Yeah. So it needed to be big enough to hold a lot of gear and big enough to sleep in, but also small enough to car top.
People or
just one? Yeah, one person sleeping in the boat at a time.
Yeah.
It needed to be easy to ride after a capsize. It needed to be fairly stable, and it needed to have a pedal power drive, a HOWB Mirage drive. That was one of their.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot to throw into one package. It was a tricky, and it needed to look like a classic sailing canoe. And I was, I loved the design concept to start. I was initially turned off by the HOWB Mirage drive. I think I'm kind of a purist when it comes to human propulsion. Give me a kayak paddle and I'm a happy man. But then I tried it and realized that for a small sailboat to be able to motor sail with the little HOWB Mirage drive in really light air is fantastic. You need to be able to steer the boat with your hands and to be able to sit in essentially an Adirondack chair facing forward in absolute comfort and just gently pedal this thing at 3.5, 4 knots while you're generating some apparent wind over your sails. It's a really, really pleasant way to move a little boat.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you don't have to deal with oar or paddle storage. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, sounds like it. So what do those rigs, what do those drives cost?
Let's see, I think the drive is around $600 if you buy it from HOWB. I know that they've just released a reversible drive, which was...
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's been the big complaint for a while.
Oh.
There's people saying...
No reversible.
Can't go backwards, yeah. So all of the competition says, HOWB is cool, they've been in development for a while, that's great, but our drive goes in reverse. And these are the companies producing the pedal-powered drives with the actual propeller underneath. HOWB's just changed that game by introducing their reversible one.
Wow.
That's a bit more expensive, but it's about $600. So it's not cheap, but you're spending $400 on a really nice kayak paddle, top-of-the-line kayak paddle, and you're spending $600 on a sliding seat rowing unit and another $600 on a pair of oars to go with it. So I would say for human propulsion, it's middle of the road in terms of expense.
Yeah, interesting.
Yep.
So you finished design on those canoes for these people. Did you guys build them?
We did, yep.
Oh,
yeah, we built the boats in 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah,
How many did you build?
2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 5 of us working, myself included. And a couple of the guys at CLC were helping with that as well.
Stitch and glue design.
Stitch and glue boats, yep.
Yeah. They weren't lap stitch.
They were. Yeah.
Oh, they were.
They are lap stitch. Yep.
Okay, so they look like a traditional lap stitch.
Yep. No, it's lap stitch. It's all cut in the CNC machine, all drawn up in 3D CAD. Yeah. The boats went together really, really nicely. It was I think it was about 3 weeks that we had them sailing, which was good, which was longer than the team was expecting. They came in not having built boats before and saw our build a boat in a week class, not realizing that build a boat means get a boat that's pretty well covered in epoxy, and then still requires the next 90% of finishing work of all the sanding and the sanding and the sand, and then maybe you get to paint it. So for us, we're a week through and we have these boats that are built and they're going, great, we're about done. I'm like, no, we haven't even started. Bust out the sander because now it's fun stuff.
So is sanding your favorite part of the process? Absolutely
not. No. Yeah. Come up with any excuse to avoid doing that, and I will.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's okay. With the right equipment, it makes all the difference. With a good random orbital sander and a nice shop vac that's sucking up all that dust, then it can be fairly pleasant. Yeah. But no, it's not my favorite part.
I built one of your lap stitch canoes.
One of the sassafras?
Yeah, sassafras.
Yeah.
And I did it from the book. And I built the 12-footer. And I spent almost as much time finishing as building. Oh yeah. Building the unit. Pretty close. I don't know. It's 50 hours to put it together and 50 hours to finish it or something.
Yeah, when you're 90% done, you have 90% to go.
Oh, that's just brutal. You realize that. You start sanding the epoxy and you're like, oh, this is going to take a while.
Yeah, we've been teaching classes for a while now. We just started teaching our Teardrop class a couple of weeks ago.
Teardrop class?
We are, 2-week Teardrop class. And a coworker, Travis, and I were running that a few weeks ago, and we were talking about starting the class off with a poorly finished piece of wood and giving it to people to sand, like a crummy fillet, kind of a bumpy fillet, and some poorly laid out epoxy. They just say this is what you have to look forward to if you don't take the time to do it right off the bat.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I don't think you know. I don't think you know what it's like to sand a bad fillet until you start sanding a bad fillet.
Especially if you wait like 6 weeks to sand it.
Right, exactly.
It's got to get really hard.
Yeah.
Don't sand it the next day.
No, we didn't do that. Maybe we should have. But the students did fantastic work. It was a ton of fun. But yes, that's the tricky part. It's amazing how important it is to take your time in the beginning.
Yeah.
To get
that
nice epoxy billets.
Yeah. So what was I going to ask you? I lost my train of thought here. Are you doing any classes out here? Have you been participating in those? Or you guys do classes here, right?
Yeah, we have in the past. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing with those in the future.
I forget which boat you did out here. Like you did a dory.
A dories, I think. The Northeaster dory.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what it was.
Cool. Yeah. So what do you personally have right now as far as a boat goes?
So my girlfriend Jessie and I just bought a 1962 Rhodes Swiftsure 33-foot sloop, and that's our home.
Really?
That's what we'll be living on, in Baltimore.
When did you buy that?
Oh, gosh. We bought it a couple of months ago, but we bought it in Alexandria, Virginia, and had to sail it all the way down the Potomac and back up the Chesapeake. Not all the way. It's not that far of a trip, but working full-time and only having weekends available to do that, it was, sail for 2 days, find some place to throw it in a slip for a week, and then come back and sail it again.
Oh, really?
It took us about a month to get the boat up, start to finish, with only 6 days of actual sailing.
Yeah.
But, we're home now. Got a little berth right in downtown Baltimore, and that'll be
So you're
home.
living on her now?
We're about 50-50 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're living.
Yeah.
We picked the boat up for a song on Craigslist, so it needed a lot of work. But we're getting through all the systems, the major systems right now.
What kind of work does she need? Mainly
Mostly systems work. Yeah. So the electrical is taken care of, the engine is taken care of, and now it's water and HVAC, which is just going to be a fan for the time being. Maybe something more along the lines of an AC unit when it gets really hot in the summer, but we'll tackle that when we get there.
Yeah.
Need heat, refrigeration.
So what's the design again?
It's a Phil Rhodes design.
Philip Rhodes. Okay.
Yeah. Swiftsure, 33-foot sloop, keel center border.
So that's a wooden boat?
No, it's a glass boat.
Oh, it's a glass boat. Okay.
It's a wooden boat built in glass. Yeah, it's a traditional Phil Rhodes design, long overhand. It looks like a wooden boat.
I see.
It's designed like it was supposed to be built out of wood. It's terribly heavy for what it is.
Yeah.
But it is all glass.
Yeah. So is that an offshore boat? Is that a good ocean-going vessel?
Yeah. I mean, it will be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take it too far offshore right now. Not really knowing the rig. But once we go through it, we'll need new spreaders at some point. Those are wood. They're kind of falling apart. Beyond that, yeah.
Cool.
I'd be comfortable taking that.
Sounds fun.
I'd love to, sail the boat up to Maine for the summer eventually. That would be a great thing to do. Or take it down the ditch and go cruise the islands for a while. If there's anything left after Irma.
Intercoastal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never heard
Oh, no? Yeah.
No.
Yep. Down the ditch.
That's kind of what it looks like.
It does.
Part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Intercoastal waterway sounds a lot more sexy.
It does.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Because a lot of it's man-made, if not most of it, right?
Quite a bit of it. I haven't done the trip, but from what I understand,
Because you can take that from Maine all the way, to Texas, to like Corpus Christi or something?
I guess you can go around because there's the intercoastal on the Gulf side of Florida too.
Yeah,
so wrap all the way down through the canal, back up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Make that part of the Great Loop.
Yeah. So, Dillon, for those listening that want to know more about the company you work for, give us contact information and just a little bit more information about Chesapeake Lightcraft, if you would.
Yeah, sure.
Give us your advertisement. It's free advertisement.
Free advertising on the airtime.
Yeah.
Chesapeake Lightcraft is the reason why so many people are building little boats for themselves. CLC gives people the opportunity to have an heirloom boat at the fraction of what it would cost to buy something off the shelf that's even remotely as well built or as pretty. It gives you the opportunity to build something that you're proud of, that you can make your own without having to start with a book and a bunch of tools that you've never used before. It's CNC cut panels that lock together with puzzle piece joints that stitch up with a bit of copper wire, and that's finished off in epoxy. So they're craft that are phenomenally durable and gorgeous. I don't know. It's the kind of boat building that I like to do. It's the kind of fairly easy to assemble.
What's the website for it?
It's clcboats.com is the website.
Okay, clcboats.com. And how about an email for you if somebody wanted to contact you?
Sure, yeah. Mine is Dillon, my first name, Dillon, at clcboats.com.
Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate your time today. Anything else you want to add before we go?
Gosh, I'd like to go for a sail here, but...
There's not much wind right now, but at least the fog's lifting.
There's enough to move, I think.
Yeah, there's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, thanks, Dillon.
Well, thank you very much.
Take care.
Yeah.
Okay. Dillon, thanks for taking the time to do the interview. It was great to hook up and hear more about what you're up to and the cool stuff that CLC Boats is doing. And I wish you the best in the future. Folks, if you'd like to connect with me, my email is woodenboatdan@gmail.com. If you make purchases on Amazon and you go through my link, I get paid a small commission. It helps pay for the podcast, and that link is hookedonwoodenboats.com/Amazon. If you have pictures, stories, want to connect about stuff, please shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in today. Keep the bright side up and the barnacled side down. Wooden Boat Dan over and out. God bless.